Tonight on CTV News, we have a look at one of the voting locations right here on campus. Plus later we have an interview.
Plus we have weather, sports, and entertainment. All this starting now on CTV News.
Good evening and thanks for tuning in to CTV News. I'm Emily Biffinger.
And I'm Willis Scott, and here is your latest update in the world.
This morning, students had the opportunity to ask questions of Colorado State University's Tony Franks cabinet and their deans. Coffee with Cabinet and Donuts with Deans is an event coordinated by Nick Bond, the Director of Outreach for Associated Students of CSU. Tony Frank was not in attendance since he is in Washington, D.C. today. Those in attendance included Blanche Hughes, Vice President of Student Affairs, Nick Miranda, Provost and Executive Vice President, Joe Parker, Director of Athletics, and the deans of each college. Bond hopes it will be an opportunity for students to get to know administration outside of the university setting.
Donald Trump was at the University of Northern Colorado on Sunday. Trump said he would spend the next 9 days with the American people, speaking positively. He was critical of Hillary Clinton's tax plan, which he believes will raise tax rates. Other issues Trump briefly touched on were fracking in the middle class. He said eventually fracking will cease to exist in America. Trump promised the crowd to lower taxes for the middle class by millions of dollars. He asked the crowd if they were concerned about the legitimacy of the voting process and ballots being counted properly. He encouraged the crowd to check on their ballots after voting.
Since Colorado residents have received their ballots, voting centers have opened across the state. Larimer County has 16 voting centers open until Tuesday, November 8th. The Laurie Student Center is one of these voting areas, and Larimer County Clerk Angela Myers has advice for voters. The Laurie Student Center here at Colorado State University has transformed into one of the largest voting centers in Larimer County. County Clerk Angela Myers has a few tips for student voters.
Vote early. Please vote early. Here's a couple reasons why. When you vote early, you ensure that those messages that you get, those voicemails, those mailings that you get from candidates and issues, those kind of evaporate because they don't send them to people who've already voted. Secondly, the process is completely different now than the way it used to be. All of our processing of those votes, or 99.9% of it, happens after the fact because we're getting mail ballots in. Please don't ever take a selfie with your ballot, your voted ballot. It is illegal in the state of Colorado to take a selfie with your voted ballot. Don't give your ballot to someone else to drop off. Be sure you drop your own ballot because we take great care with it. When it's in the postal system, it is under federal protections, so don't give it to someone else because you don't know their life is happening too. Something else may take precedence over getting that dropped in and you just don't want to take any chances with your ballot.
No, it was super easy. Like they just asked you to turn off your cell phone, which kind of hurt. And then they just asked for your, just like a photo ID and then just give them your address and they just give you a ballot and you can bring it in and drop it off whenever, or you can just do it right there.
Remember, the voting site itself is kind of a sacred area. No electioneering within the 100-foot limit, no cell phones in the site itself. The reason, I mean, if you need it for your cheat sheet, print that cheat sheet out because you will not be able to use your cell phone inside of the voting center. And within 100 foot of the site, no electioneering, so leave those caps, leave those shirts off or turn them inside out or whatever because that's a sacred area where just the voting and we take great care with that. So be sure to follow those.
For more information, please visit larimer.org/elections. That is all for news, but coming up, we will be joined by Nicholas Morris.
And later we have weather, sports, and entertainment.
KCSU student-run radio station at Colorado State University. Live 24 hours a day, every day at 90.5 FM and kcsufm.com. Live local new music now, and news, talk, and sports. KCSU, the radio voice of Colorado State, on the air since 1964.
You're watching CTV, produced by Colorado State University students, bringing you news, weather, sports, and entertainment from campus and beyond. CTV live Monday through Thursday at 7 p.m. on campus and Fort Collins on Channel 11. Repeats at midnight, 8 a.m., noon, and 2 p.m.
The Rocky Mountain Collegian is your student-run news and information platform. Pick up your paper on campus or around Fort Collins Monday through Thursday with special editions Fridays. And check out collegian.com anytime for all the latest updates. News, sports, entertainment, opinion, and more. The Rocky Mountain Collegian, serving Colorado State since 1891.
College Avenue has been your student magazine for the last 10 years. College Avenue prints once a month covering topics that are relevant to the CSU and Fort Collins community. We also print special editions like the graduation guides at the end of each semester, the best of CSU each fall, and the orientation guide each summer. Look for us on racks around campus, off campus, or online at collegian.com under the College Avenue tab.
I'm joined by Republican Congressional Candidate for District 2, Nicholas Morse. Mr. Morse, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
I'd like to get just a little bit of your history from you, if you don't mind. Are you a Colorado native?
No, I was actually born in Pensacola, Florida. My father is a 20-year Navy vet, so we got to travel the country, which was pretty cool. I moved here in 2000, finished high school here, and then I got my degree from Colorado State in 2009.
Excellent. And what did you major in?
Liberal arts. Got my degree in liberal arts. I got my minor in media studies. And then when I graduated in 2013, 2015, I got my master's degree in business at night here in Fort Collins as well.
Okay, now tell me, since earning your undergraduate, what have you been doing? How have you been working?
Yeah, so I have been working, before I entered the race, I was a marketing executive at Madwire Media, which is actually, their corporate headquarters is right here in Fort Collins as well. So we just managed the portfolio of clients' advertising budget, and I did that for 3 years. I was an auditor before that, and then politically, I was the treasurer of the Larimer County Republican Party, and I did that until I entered into this race as well.
Excellent, excellent. Now, you have a three-step plan to deal with student debt. Your opponent, Jared Polis, has come out with his own plan, and he says he wants to bring down the overall cost of college and skill training by encouraging vocational schools, by encouraging community college. Now, one of his other plans, too, is he says he wants to cap the student loan interest rates and move to a simple income-based repayment system. Now, are your plans different from his?
They are. So we already have income-based. That's one of the options that you can already take advantage of. But my plan is different. In terms of vocational opportunities, I have a plan where we should provide more alternative funding for craftsmen, tradesmen who maybe don't want to go to a four-year university. The second plan is I want employers to be able to have tax write-offs if they contribute to your student loan repayment. And then the third part of it has to do directly with people who graduated already. So most of the plans that you see right now for college kids deal with free college for people going. Well, what about all the people who've already graduated, such as myself? They're still stuck with that burden. So if we can give them the option of having their employer contribute, plus being able to pay their plan pre-tax, which will save them $100 a month, I think that's really important and will actually tackle the problem of student debt and the bubble that we have right now instead of working around the edges.
All right, now Colorado's healthcare system has become a really divisive issue, even among Democrats. We see Amendment 69 on the ballot this year, and that is Colorado Care, universal health care in Colorado. And while Bernie Sanders is a person who has been even here to CSU and different places in Colorado campaigning for universal health care, we see that other politicians in the state, like Governor Hickenlooper, Senator Michael Bennet, oppose Colorado Care. Now, why do you oppose Colorado Care?
I oppose Colorado Care for 3 reasons. First, it's an amendment, so it's extremely difficult to get out of the Constitution. I think it should be a proposition or an initiative. That way, if it is passed, it goes through the state legislature where they can clean up some of the fallacies that are in the ballot language and in the law, and then it can go to the governor's desk to be signed. Secondly, it starts with a 10% increase in taxes, 6.5% on the employer and 3.5% on your and I revenue. Plus, there's an additional 10 to 15% tax on any revenue that's not income generated. So payroll would be a good example. Anything outside of that, there's an additional tax there. So it's going to significantly tamper and dampen Colorado's economy, and I don't think that's the best way to go about healthcare. If we could see it as an initiative or a proposition, then I think people would be more receptive to it, but I'm against it for those reasons.
All right, now another issue that is very significant among college students is the environment. And of course, the Republican Party isn't known for its environmental policies. In Congress, what sort of legislature would you hope to pass as far as environmental policy goes?
Yeah, I think our party's coming around to that. I've tried to lead on that. Sustainable energy is extremely important because once it becomes sustainable, the costs go down as well. So it's passed on to the end user like you and I, where our bills go down. But we have to also take into account where we are geographically. While some areas might be able to take care of tidal, hydro, energy, we can't. We're just not geographically well positioned for that. So I've tried to lead in my campaign and my race to show that we should continue to subsidize solar, we should continue to subsidize wind, but we shouldn't turn off sources of energy right now like oil and gas that have 100% yield. It'll cause the cost to skyrocket because the demand will be higher than the supply. And so while I want us to get there, we still need to be able to meet our needs right now, and it's something that I've been trying to lead on in my party.
All right. Now, you're also a strong proponent of the Second Amendment, a defender of the Second Amendment. This topic is perhaps more polarizing and more inflammatory in light of all the recent shootings we've had this year. Now, some Republicans do fear that if Hillary Clinton is elected, then of course she will be able to appoint some new Supreme Court justices, and in doing so she'll be able to limit the Second Amendment a little bit more. Now, in Congress, do you think through legislature the Second Amendment should be limited in some degrees? And do you think there is a line that legislature shouldn't pass when it comes to limiting the Second Amendment?
Yeah, I think you're seeing right now a renaissance of this conversation because of exactly the unfortunate examples that you've mentioned recently. But the purpose of the Second Amendment was not to guarantee safety. It was guarantee the ability for you and I to arm ourselves in case our government became tyrannical. It's not just for self-defense, it's so that the government can't encroach overly on the day-to-day lives of everyday Americans. You know, we came from a society where one person had the power and they had all the arms, and that's how they exerted force and control of their populace, and we wanted that to never happen again. So I think in terms of crossing a line, there should be no law restricting the Second Amendment, and I think that that's clearly outlined in the Second Amendment, and that's something that I support.
All right. Well, Mr. Morse, thank you so much for joining us. And coming up, we have the full weather forecast with our weather anchor, Elizabeth Prasse. All right, and we're out.
Or GetSchooled.com. You want a college education, don't you? You know you do. That's why we're here. We're free and here to guide you through every step of the way, starting with attendance. Gary, financial aid forms. Picking a college, man. You and us. We go together like tacos and Tuesday.
And I love tacos. Go to GetSchooled.com.
Why, hello there. Weather anchor Elizabeth Prasse with you here on this Tuesday evening with your latest weather update. Now, everyone knows October has been very warm and very dry, above average. So let's compare it to September. September saw 20 days above average, a high of 91 degrees. October, 24 days above average. So that means 1 week or 7 days total we're not above the average of 64 degrees. We did see a high of 84, a little bit cooler though than September with a low of 30 degrees. We can thank La Nina though for these very warm and very dry temperatures as we head into November. Currently it's 54 degrees in Fort Collins. We do have a breeze coming out of the northeast, partly cloudy skies, and we're going to see those clouds continue tonight. If you're headed out to Sundance for your two-step-in Tuesday, 9 o'clock we're going to see temperatures at 50 degrees, cooling down to those mid-40s as the clouds increase tonight. Overall though, across the state, we're going to see Fort Collins. Those clouds are keeping us warm tonight. 41 degrees, 39 degrees in Denver, 40 along the I-25 corridor, the southern portion. Out on Eastern Plains, 40 in Lamar, 40 degrees in Burlington as well. Then as we head towards the mountains, that's where it gets cooler below the freezing mark in Vail, Gunnison, Telluride, and in Alamosa for your Tuesday overnight lows. I was wrong about my snow prediction. We will not have any snow in the forecast for Wednesday, November 2nd. Some clouds in the morning, and then by lunchtime, we're going to see gusts around 17 miles per hour. Cool temperatures in those mid-50s, but by the afternoon, the sun will be out and shining. 58 degrees for a clear and calm, very pleasant Wednesday afternoon for you. Looking across the state of Colorado, Wednesday is going to show temperatures with highs at or above average. As you know, 63 in Fort Collins, and we've got 60s along the I-25 corridor, 66 in Pueblo. Colorado Springs, you're a little bit cooler, 59 degrees. Warmer on the Eastern Plains, 70 degrees in Lamar. So you can thank La Nina. The warm ocean temperatures are keeping the land temperatures warm as well. Now Saturday we have a home football game at Hughes Stadium, and the good news is great tailgating weather for this football game. A mixture of sun and clouds at the 1:30 kickoff, and then we're going to see partly cloudy skies by the fourth quarter, temperatures in the 60s. So you will want to grab maybe a light jacket. Overall though, going to be a very pleasant afternoon. So go cheer on our Ram football team. But the best news is daylight saving times ends this Sunday. That means Rams, set your clocks back 1 hour as we fall back and enjoy this extra hour of sleep. I know I sure am, and speaking of sleep, I'm gonna go catch up on mine. See you next week.
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self, and I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
Hello Rams, I'm Tim McCall, and here's the latest in the world of Rams sports. The CSU men's golf team is currently finishing up their final tournament of the season at the Warrior Princeville Mackay Invitational Tournament in Hawaii. The tournament, which is in its third and final round today, sees the Rams sitting at 13th place out of 18 teams on the leaderboard, with an 8 over par total. The Rams have been led by senior Blake Cannon, who shot 2 under par throughout the first 2 rounds. Cannon's superb first 2 rounds were good enough to place him 18th on the individual leaderboard of the tournament. CSU junior Max Olefke also played well through the first 2 rounds, shooting a total of just 1 over par, a mark that is good enough to place him 32nd on the overall leaderboard. With just 2 strokes separating CSU and 12th place Princeton, CSU looks to make a move up the leaderboards during the final round and hopefully provide a strong finish to their season. After today's action, CSU men's golf will be off until late February, when they will head to Arizona for the Omni Tuscan National Resort Invitational. In CSU football news, the Rams come off their bye week with a home matchup against Fresno State this Saturday. Since the Rams sit at 4-4 on the season, a win in this week's game could build momentum heading into the final stretch of the season, as the Rams hope to earn a bowl game bid. Fresno State appears to be the ideal matchup for a well-rested CSU team, as the Bulldogs are 1-8 on the season and have struggled mightily. Look for the CSU running game to capitalize this week against a Fresno State defense that ranks second to last in the country in rush defense, allowing an astonishing 272 rushing yards per game. If CSU's offensive line can open the holes like they did in their last matchup against UNLV, the Rams will dominate the ground game. CSU quarterback Nick Stevens will be able to stretch the field with some play-action passes, and Coach Bobo could use vertical routes to prevent Fresno State from loading the box in order to stop the run. Overall, look for the CSU offense to dominate the Fresno State defense this Saturday. The game starts at 1:30 at Hughes Stadium. Don't miss out on a big game that could go a long way in deciding the Rams' postseason fate. In other CSU football news, it was announced yesterday that the Rams' upcoming November 12th matchup at Air Force will be played under the lights at 8:15. This game, which will be broadcast on ESPN networks, will be the Rams' 5th game under the lights this season. After losing their first 3 night games, the Rams were able to get a homecoming win under the lights in their last night game versus Utah State. CSU will look to duplicate that result on November 12th when they travel to Colorado Springs to take on Air Force. The CSU basketball season is finally upon us. The CSU women's basketball team, who was picked as the favorite to win the Mountain West Conference this season, will get into action this Friday with a home scrimmage versus CSU Pueblo at 7 p.m. The Rams hope to use this scrimmage to prepare for their first real game, a home matchup on Friday, November 11th versus Omaha. This game will also tip off at 7 p.m. The CSU men's basketball team will also begin their season next week. Regis University will visit Moby Arena for a Tuesday night matchup 1 week from today on November 8th. Don't miss out on the beginning of what could be a very special season for both men's and women's basketball here at CSU. That's all we have for sports tonight, but be sure to check out entertainment with Nicole and special guest Emma up next.
Me and my boy Matt had it good. He had catnip that was off the hook. But one day, he brings a girl home, and she's allergic to cats. Every sneeze was a nail in my coffin. Now I'm in a shelter. It's decent, but they don't even have Wi-Fi.
Good evening, I'm Nicole Heins.
And I'm Emma Iannacone, bringing you the latest in entertainment news. The internet has been going crazy over a story about a woman from North Carolina who was arrested for stealing 24 dogs from a shelter. Unfortunately, the story is a hoax. The woman, Joyce Cullen, admitted to the prank, which disappointed a lot of naive internet users. However, the real crime here is that someone would joke about rescuing dogs from a shelter. The homeless dogs commented on the prank, saying, "Life is really rough."
The Alaska Bureau of Land Management has released a video of a Loch Ness Monster wannabe. It was seen in the Chena River and has people starting to believe in the monster. It was not spotted in Scotland, so people have named it the Chena Chomper. I'm still pretty convinced. It seems like one of those distant cousins no one ever really talks about and just kind of shows up every once in a while. Now I have no clue what animal is shown in the footage, but it is kind of creepy. It makes me want to go lock myself in my room.
Recently, DNCE released a new song titled Blown. It's all about the struggles getting this girl to like him, so that she will finally like him back. You're Joe Jonas. Is it really that hard for you to find someone? In fact, someone sitting in this chair right now would be willing. It's me, Joe Jonas. Hit me up.
The internet lost their mind once again when Big Sean released his new song titled No More Interviews. Sean talks about his ongoing beef with Kid Cudi, Kanye West, and Drake. He repeats over and over that he will not do any interviews. I guess he had to vent somehow. This industry can be hard. News reporters across the United States said, "This is kind of our job. Please keep doing interviews."
Everyone's favorite fairy tale, Snow White, is getting a makeover. Disney announced that they will be developing a live-action Snow White that will delve further into the story of the princess and even include some new songs. I've got to be honest, I'm a little curious as to how they're going to feature the 7 dwarves in the movie. Nicole and I have an idea of what celebrities could play the 7 dwarves. In fact, we've got a graphic right here to show you. Beyonce we have to play Doc because, well, she's Queen Bey.
She's Queen, of course. And we have Katy Perry, who we said was sleepy because of her song Wide Awake. So we thought that fit pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely. We also have Kanye as grumpy because, well, if you know anything about Kanye, he's pretty grumpy.
Yeah, and I'm gonna let you finish, but in case you were unaware, October is over. You know what that means, Christmas. I'm just kidding, but not really. It's the start of No Shave November. The Twitter world made it a trending topic today in the United States. Here's a new segment that I like to call What's Trending Tuesdays. Did you do No Shave November? So you're doing it this year?
Yeah, I do it every year. I've done it for the last 2 or 3 years. This is the first year I've actually been able to grow a full beard, so I'm looking forward to growing it back. I did shave it this morning, so 3 months of work gone. So
Perfect. How big does it usually get?
I keep it pretty trim. I keep it tamed. Otherwise, it can get kind of bushy. So
lumberjack status.
Sort of a layman lumberjack, I guess. He's sort of dabbling in the field of lumberjack. Yeah.
Cool. Is that your ideal job?
Park ranger wouldn't be bad, so, similarly related, I guess.
Oh,
yeah.
of course. I am no beard expert, but I've seen people go from baby faces to lumberjacks real quick. And with these winter months coming, you have to keep warm somehow.
Rumors have been floating all across the internet this week that pop singer Taylor Swift and rap artist Drake are dating. According to an anonymous source, the two were seen flirting at Drake's birthday party on Sunday. Drake even introduced her to his mom and friends, said Tom Hiddleston and Calvin Harris. "Don't do it, dude. She's crazy."
Another topic trending on the web is hashtag DM Your Crush Day. Is this what the world has come to? Internet dating? This is one activity that I might actually participate in. What would I put in a message? My name's Nicole. I like being outdoors, puppies, and also cookies. Dylan O'Brien, you've got one heck of a message coming for you.
Last year, Netflix revived the classic after-school special we all grew up on, Full House. Now the show has been brought back for a second season. The trailer for Full House Season 2 was released earlier today, and it's sure to get you in the holiday spirit. All of your favorite characters from Season 1 will be returning, and of course, Uncle Jesse looks as good as ever. All I have to say is, have mercy.
ABC released the new air date for its 21st season of The Bachelor. Nick Viall is this season's star and is back for his 4th season trying to find love. Previous girlfriends have stated Viall was dramatic and cocky. Hopefully the 4th time is the charm. The new season premieres January 2nd. Nick commented on the comments against him saying, "New year, new me." So Emma, how do you feel about Nick Viall being the new Bachelor?
I'm actually pretty excited. Nick is one of my favorite Bachelors.
Really?
I know. Everyone hates him, but I just think he's so cute and so confident.
And it's The Bachelor. He's so cute. That's the only thing you have to say. But I'm going to have to disagree with you, and I am one of those people who is not a big fan of Nick.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Have you seen, you've watched The Bachelor in Paradise, obviously. Have you seen him on Caitlyn and Andy seasons, though?
I have not, no.
See, you might have a different change of mind. You got to go back and watch those, and then report back to me on how you're feeling after those.
Absolutely, I'll have to go back and watch them.
Yeah.
But that's all the time we have for you tonight. You are now all caught up in the world of entertainment.
Make sure to check out Local Beats tomorrow night at 7. And for more news, sports, and entertainment, check out thecollegian.com. Have a great night, Rams.